My mother sent me a text 3 days before my sister-'s wedding. Please don't come. We want a drama-free day. My sister even liked the message. They thought I was just a jealous assistant who couldn't afford a nice gift. They had no idea that I secretly paid the $35,000 bill for their dream venue, because I actually own the estate. They wanted to avoid my negative energy. Fine. I drove to the venue, introduced myself as the owner, and cancelled the entire event. Watch what happened when the bride realized I held the keys to her big day. The text notification popped up on my screen while I was reviewing the quarterly revenue reports for my hospitality group. It was a message in the family group chat. Mum. Clara, we need to talk about Saturday. Maya and I have been discussing it, and we think it's best if you don't come to the wedding. I froze. My younger sister, Maya, was getting married in 3 days. I had bought my dress. I had arranged my travel. I had even sent a crystal vase worth $500 from her registry. I typed back, "What? Why, Mum? We just want a drama-free day." You know how you get. You're always so opinionated. And Maya is very stressed. We don't want any negative energy. Then a notification popped up right under the text. Maya liked this message. That little thumbs up icon hurt more than the words. My sister, the one I had tutored in math, the one I had bailed out of debt twice, was liking my exclusion from her life. I put my phone down and looked out the window of my office. My family thought I was an executive assistant. They knew I worked in events, but they assumed I was the person who fetched coffee and organized files. They didn't know that I was the CEO of Horizon Venues, a company that owns 6 of the most exclusive wedding estates on the West Coast, including the one Maya was getting married at. The Rosewood estate was my crown jewel. It was a sprawling vineyard with a ballroom that cost $45,000 to rent for a Saturday night. Maya and my parents couldn't afford it. They had a budget of $10,000 for the whole wedding. 6 months ago, when Maya was crying about not finding a venue, I told her I knew someone who could pull strings. I told her I got her a friends and family discount because my boss liked me. In reality, I paid the difference. I covered the $35,000 rental fee. I paid for the premium catering upgrade. I paid for the open bar. I did it anonymously, because I knew if I told them, they would resent me or accuse me of showing off. I just wanted my sister to be happy. And now, they were uninviting me from the very party I was funding. I picked up my phone and dialed my assistant, Sarah. "Sarah, pull the contract for the Miller Davis wedding at Rosewood this weekend," I said, my voice shaking slightly. "The one with the massive discount?" Sarah asked. "The one you signed off on personally?" "Yes. I need you to look at Clause 4B, the Code of Conduct section regarding the treatment of staff and management." There was a pause as she typed. "Okay, I have it. The venue reserves the right to cancel any event with zero refund if the client or their guests display abusive, harassing, or discriminatory behavior toward venue staff or ownership." "Great," I said. "And check the payment terms. Who is listed as the primary financier?" "You are, Ms. Miller. It says gifted by Clara Miller." Perfect. I hung up. They wanted a drama-free wedding. They wanted to avoid negative energy. I looked at the text message again. "Please don't come." They thought I was just the bitter older sister who would ruin the vibe. They had no idea I was the only reason they had a venue at all. I didn't reply to the text. I didn't beg. I didn't cry. I simply stood up, grabbed my car keys, and drove to Rosewood. It was time to introduce my family to the owner. The Rosewood estate looked magnificent. The late afternoon sun hit the vineyards just right, bathing the white stone building in a golden glow. The floral team was already setting up the archway for the ceremony imported white orchids that I had personally approved the budget for just last week. I parked my car in the owner's spot around the back, a spot my family didn't know existed, and walked through the kitchen entrance. The staff nodded respectfully as I passed. "Good afternoon, Ms. Miller," the head chef said, wiping his hands on his apron. "The tasting menu is prepped for the rehearsal dinner." "Thank you, chef," I said, keeping my voice steady. "It smells delicious." I walked through the double doors into the main ballroom. My mother and Maya were standing in the center of the dance floor, criticizing the lighting. "It's too yellow," Maya was whining. "I wanted soft white. This makes me look jaundiced." "We'll tell the manager," Mom assured her. "He'll fix it. We're paying enough for this place. They better jump when we say jump." I almost laughed. They weren't paying enough to cover the electricity bill for the AC, let alone the custom lighting rig. I stepped out from the shadows. "Actually, the lighting is calibrated to the sunset," I said. "It will cool down in 20 minutes. Mom spun around. Her face went from annoyed to furious in a split second. "Clara?" she hissed. "Did you not get my text? We told you not to come." Maya crossed her arms, rolling her eyes. "Oh my God, here we go. The drama. Clara, seriously? Can you just respect my wishes for once? This is my weekend." "I got the text," I said, walking closer. My heels clicked loudly on the marble floor. "I just wanted to clarify something. You uninvited me because I'm negative energy. You're judgmental." Mom snapped. "You sit in the corner and look down on everyone because you think you're so smart with your little office job. We don't want you bringing the mood down. So please leave. Before I call security." "Security?" I asked, raising an eyebrow. "Yes, security," Maya yelled. "This is a private event. I am the bride. I can have anyone removed I want." She turned and spotted the general manager, Mr. Henderson, who had just walked in with a clipboard. Maya shouted, pointing at him. "Excuse me, this woman is trespassing. Please escort her off the property immediately." Mr. Henderson stopped. He looked at Maya, then at Mom, and finally at me. He looked confused, and then terrified. I'm sorry, Miss Davis," Mr. Henderson said to Maya. "You want me to remove her?" He pointed at me. "Yes," Mom barked. "She is an uninvited guest. Get her out." Mr. Henderson cleared his throat. He walked over to me, but instead of grabbing my arm, he bowed his head slightly. "Good evening, Ms. Miller," he said deferentially. "I wasn't expecting you on site today. Is everything satisfactory with the setup?" The room went quiet. "Ms. Miller?" Maya repeated, looking between us. "Why are you talking to her like that? She's just my sister. Kick her out." "I can't do that, ma'am," Mr. Henderson said, straightening his tie. "I can't kick the owner off her own property." Mom let out a sharp, incredulous laugh. "Owner? What are you talking about? Clara is an assistant. She fetches coffee. I am the CEO of Horizon Venues," I said, my voice projecting clearly through the empty ballroom. "I own Rosewood Estate. I also own the Sapphire Cliffs in Malibu and the Grand Victorian in Seattle." I looked at my mother. "You didn't get a friend discount, Mom?" "There is no friend. There is only me. I authorized the 90% price reduction. I paid the $35,000 difference out of my own pocket because I wanted Maya to have her dream wedding." Maya's mouth fell open. She looked at the opulent chandeliers, the silk drapes, the staff waiting in the wings. You own this?" she whispered. "Yes," I said. "And I was happy to do it. I was happy to stay in the background and let you shine. Until about an hour ago." I pulled my phone out and opened the text message. "You said you wanted a drama-free wedding, right?" I read aloud. "You said I bring negative energy. Well, I have to agree with you. It is very negative to be around people who use you for your money while calling you a loser behind your back. Clara, wait, Mom stammered, her face turning pale. We didn't mean. We didn't know ... You didn't know I was successful, so you treated me like trash, I clarified. That's worse, Mom. If you only respect people who have power, you don't have any integrity. I turned to Mr. Henderson. Mr. Henderson, what is the status of the invoice for the Miller-Davis wedding? It is currently marked as comped by owner, he said instantly. Please change that status, I said calmly. Revert the billing to the standard rate. Full price for the venue, the premium catering, and the open bar. Done, he said, making a note on his clipboard. And Mr. Henderson? Yes, Ms. Miller. Since the clients have expressed a strong desire to remove negative energy from the venue... Please enforce the cancellation policy. Clause 4B, abusive behavior toward ownership. Clara, Maya screamed, running toward me. You can't. The wedding is in 2 days. Guests are flying in. You uninvited me, I said, meeting her eyes. You liked the message, Maya. You clicked that little thumbs up button. You wanted me gone. Okay. I'm gone. And so is my money. I looked at Mr. Henderson. Cancel the event. Refund the $10,000 they paid. Send them the bill for the non-refundable deposits I covered. And lock the doors. Immediately, Miss Miller, he said. No, Mom shrieked, grabbing my arm. You are ruining your sister's life. Get your hand off me, I said, my voice low and dangerous. Or I will have you arrested for assaulting the property owner. Unlike you, I don't bluff. Mom let go as if I burned her. You have 1 hour to remove your decorations and personal items, I said to the room. After that, anything left behind becomes the property of Rosewood Estate. I turned and walked toward the exit. Clara, please. Maya was sobbing now, falling to her knees on the marble floor I paid to polish. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. We'll let you come. You can sit at the head table. Please. I stopped at the double doors. I looked back at my sister, begging on the floor, and my mother, looking at me with fear for the first time in her life. I don't want to sit at the head table, I said. I have a business to run, and I don't allow drama in my workplace. I pushed the doors open and walked out into the sunset. Behind me, I heard the wailing start. It wasn't the sound of a wedding. It was the sound of consequences. The next 48 hours were chaos. My phone didn't stop ringing. Maya called 27 times. Mom called 34 times. Even my dad, who usually stayed out of the drama, left me a voicemail begging me to reconsider because he couldn't afford to lose the deposit. I didn't answer. I sat in my penthouse apartment overlooking the city, drinking tea and watching the sunset. It was the most peaceful weekend I had experienced in years. Maya's wedding didn't happen. Not at Rosewood, anyway. From what I heard through the grapevine, they scrambled to find a backup venue. They ended up in a hotel conference room near the airport. The catering was cancelled, so they ordered pizza. Half the guests didn't show up because the location change was so last minute and confusing. It wasn't the fairy tale Maya wanted, but it was the wedding she could afford. 2 weeks later, I received a letter. It wasn't an apology. It was a legal notice. My parents were threatening to sue me for breach of contract regarding the gifted venue. They claimed I had made a verbal promise and then reneged maliciously. I laughed out loud. I called my lawyer David. David, I said. My parents are suing me. Let me guess. David sighed. The Rosewood cancellation? Yep. Send it over. I'll draft a response reminding them that gifts can be revoked when the recipient violates the terms of service, specifically the part about not abusing the donor. We met for mediation a month later. My mother and Maya sat across the table, looking angry and self-righteous. My dad looked embarrassed. Clara, their lawyer started, a man who looked like he charged by the minute and knew he was losing. My clients feel they are entitled to compensation for the emotional distress caused by your actions. Emotional distress? I asked, raising an eyebrow. You mean the distress of finding out that the daughter you called a loser is actually a multimillionaire? I slid a folder across the table. This is a breakdown of every dollar I have spent on this family in the last 10 years, I said. Tutoring for Maya. Bail for Uncle Jerry. The anonymous donation that saved Mom's church group. The discount on the venue. It totals over $200,000. Maya picked up the paper. Her eyes widened. You paid for my college tuition, she whispered. Mom said she got a loan. Mom lied, I said. I paid it. Cash. I looked at my mother. She wouldn't meet my eyes. I'm done, I said. I'm done being the secret bank account. I'm done being the punching bag. The lawsuit goes away today, or I countersue for defamation and fraud. And I will win. Because unlike you, I have the receipts. The lawyer whispered something to my parents. My dad nodded quickly. Mom looked like she had swallowed a lemon. We'll drop it, Dad said quietly. We're sorry, Clara. I know you are, I said, standing up. You're sorry the money is gone. I walked out of the mediation room and didn't look back. I cut them off, completely. No more money, no more visits. No more family group chats where they could make me feel small. 6 months later, I was featured on the cover of Forbes magazine as one of the top self-made women in hospitality. The article talked about my humble beginnings, my drive, and my empire. My assistant Sarah walked into my office holding a copy. Ms. Miller, she said, smiling. Someone left a voicemail on the business line. It's your sister. What did she say? I asked, not looking up from my laptop. She said she saw the magazine. She said she's proud of you, and she asked if you're hiring. I stopped typing. I looked at the cover of the magazine, me, standing in front of Rosewood Estate, looking strong, successful, and free. Tell her no, I said. We're fully staffed. Sarah nodded and left the room. I turned my chair to look out the window. The sun was setting over the city, painting the sky in shades of gold and violet. I had lost my family, yes, but I had found myself. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't just the girl in the background fetching coffee. I was the CEO, and my life was finally truly drama-free. If you loved watching Clara boss up and shut down her toxic family, smash that like button. And here is a question for you. If your family uninvited you from an event you secretly paid for, would you cancel it like Clara did, or let them have their day? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories of justice served cold.